Alright guys, second update for today. It is 3:15 p.m. September 9th, 2017. Really quick on Irma. We finally have our first view of Irma making a northward approach, which means, at least in my opinion, that the pressure that we were talking about from the front and the jet stream moving east into the Atlantic is now the pressure has released enough to where Irma can now make its northern approach. A lot of the models are staying true to that, hugging that west side. Some of them still lining up towards the middle, through the middle of the Keys. We're just going to have to wait and see how straight this pattern is, or if it's still going to veer west. We're talking a couple hours, and we'll have more detail on that. I will have more updates today, just to let you guys know. But right now, a lot of people are asking about Jose and its latest track. Now, before I even get into this, guys, remember, we are probably 10, 11 days out from a possible landfall with Jose. As of right now, a lot of people are expecting Jose to actually collapse on itself. I explained a little bit of this in my last video. Jose's path is projected to come up in this area and then do some sort of a loop here, and that's when they're expecting it to possibly collapse. Now that was based on info because of the front here that if you see my mouse is moving out into the ocean. We have the Bermuda High pressure in the Atlantic Ocean, which is constant, and because of that they're expecting Jose to come up this way and loop around and basically collapse on itself or be crushed by this pressure and the pressure from the Atlantic. Now, that was a couple hours ago. I want to show you some of the updated data on Jose. Here's one of the time periods which show that similar loop I was telling you about. So we have a 2 p.m. Saturday, was a little while ago, and these are the projected days so far. So like I said, if this thing is going to make a landfall, if it heads towards the east coast, we're talking 10, 11 days out. A lot of things can change. We saw how much Irma changed, so you can't quote me on this just yet. We still have a lot of time, and you guys know that from previous videos. But I just want to show you what some of these updated models are showing. These are your spaghetti models. A lot of them yesterday had this thing just turning and dying out right here. Some of these are starting to stretch out into the Atlantic. Now remember, again guys, we are far out, and this is cooler water. The longer Jose is hanging out up in this area, the less chance of it strengthening once it does that. Now, one concern I have is the loop we're talking about. If it were to come up and do this loop and then come south again, that's when it could start strengthening again, when it gets south into the warm water. So, back to this chart here. Once again, high Bermuda pressure is always forcing these hurricanes down, and then the jet stream plays a role depending if it's low or if it's high, or like we saw with Irma, we had something unexpected where the jet stream almost broke, leaving a big front pressure here that kept Irma down, and that's why we were all waiting to see when it would stop heading west and start heading north. Now, a concern with Irma is that it's now heading north, and it's already gained a little bit of strength. They mentioned that the pressure has dropped, which means it got stronger. We're just going to have to wait and see. Now, really quick, guys, back to the jet stream model. This is going to show you why I think Jose is a potential storm for the northeast according to right now. Again, we have plenty of time. Things may change, but this is what it's showing now. So again, I explained to you how Irma is going to start involving itself with this front pattern here, and once it does, you see how it starts creating its own front right here. Jet stream tries to put itself back together. Right here you can start seeing the jet stream reform that U shape it has, but now Irma has created its own. So I explained how it's like a catcher's mitt for Jose down here. And then we go forward in time. This is expected models. Remember, these can change. Jet stream, here's that pressure, here's Jose. Now Jose, because of this, is said to go up and loop and then die out and collapse. Now, I think it would only collapse if this part of the front stayed this way and moved forward. That would press it against the pressure here in the Atlantic, and it would collapse it. Still a very good possibility that may happen. Let's hope that happens. But according to this front starts to turn. This end starts to pull up. And you can see how Jose is starting to hook up in this direction. Now, by the time we get to this day, this may change. This could be more pressure. This could have collapsed already, but right now it's still showing it existing. And this little break right here that it's projecting could be the difference between this thing making its way up into the coast or collapsing, basically. That was our last frame. So that's what we have right now, guys. We have about 2 more frames than we did in the last video, but it still shows Jose alive right here. And then to add on to that, again, Ventus Sky has been changing a lot. This is the GFS. GFS and Euros both have this Irma on the west side, but again, for Jose, watch what happens here. Here's Monday the 11th, Tuesday the 12th, Wednesday the 13th, Thursday the 14th, and then watch this. This is when they're expecting it to collapse. It was around the 15th. Here's the 16th. Now picture if that front that we were talking about has that gap here, that's less pressure. That's going to allow Jose to move in this direction if these things stay like this. Here's the 17th. Makes a northward movement. And this is what we have, guys. This is the 18th. If Jose does survive and make it to this point, that means that the front we were talking about definitely had a gap in it or less pressure than it showed earlier, and that's the reason why they have Jose projected right here. All right, so guys, again, we have a lot of time to check this out. We still have to deal with Irma and its aftermath, but as I said, I'm confident that Irma is going to play a significant role in Jose, whether it lives or dies. And again, some of the articles I was reading saying that Jose is going to collapse on itself is still a big possibility. If the longer Jose is in these waters here, anything basically above this part right here, if you see my mouse, these are cooler waters and the chances of it staying alive are low. If it comes up here and then loops back down into warm waters, then we might have an issue. We just got to keep an eye on this, guys. Every day things will change, but as of right now, this is where they are projecting Jose to be on Monday the 18th. So we need to keep an eye on this. Guys, I will be back shortly with more Irma updates. Thank you for sticking with me. Talk to you all soon.